Good morning. I thought before I started the sermon, I might do a little presentation by PowerPoint of the window that I'd like to highlight. You may well recognize this picture. It is the Ascension Window at First Lutheran. It is the west window directly as you're looking from the pew. This is the view that you see. And I'm jealous of you. I get to see the east window, so I guess it's fair. It is referred to as the Ascension Window in all of our historic documents, and it may certainly depict that. If you look below Jesus' feet here, I'm going to use a little pointer, it does look like he is standing on clouds. There are also angelic-looking figures with wings to the sides and directly below him. They're in postures of praise. These fellows have some kind of double-horned musical instrument, but they have wings, so I assume they can play anything. Just above one shoulder on this side here, there is the crown with the cross. It's called a Globus Cruciger from the Latin. The cross, of course, is a symbol of Christ's death on the cross, and the orb symbolizes the world. I have a picture of one a little bit more neat down here. The orb symbolizes the world, and together they represent Christ's authority above and beyond all worldly things. So the stained glass artists chose to put the cross, the crown, and the orb on this shoulder, above Jesus' shoulder on this side of the window. And here's that same thing close up. The orb, the cross, and the crown. Now when you see the close-ups of this, it looks like straw, but it symbolizes fire. And anytime you see that behind a picture in a stained glass window in our sanctuary, it represents fire. And when the sun comes through the windows just at the right angle, it will light up in a way that's kind of inexpressible. So that's the Globus Cruciger, close up. On the other side, over Jesus' shoulder, is the descending dove. Now, where do you see the descending dove? In the life of Jesus, of course, it's at his baptism. This is my son, the beloved. Listen to him. And again, you'll see the depiction of fire behind him. There's a blue with stars, kind of sky representation in the glass surrounding the descending dove. Back to the main window. Note that there are three figures directly below the Jesus and angelic figures here. Three very human figures. Oh, and I wanted to point out behind Jesus, you see all of this? Remember, that represents flames or fire or light. And especially in the summertime, if it's a bright day, just about an hour before sunset, the west window here will light this up like gold. I have to say that it reminded me of Transfiguration every time I've seen it. And that's why we're talking about this on Transfiguration Sunday. So here are these three figures below Jesus. Here's a close-up. Here's where I'm going to take a stab at the dark and maybe make a hypothesis that these might just be Peter, James, and John. And that would be what leads me to think that this might be more a transfiguration window than an ascension window. We only have pictures of Peter elsewhere in the church, but I'm thinking that it's entirely possible. We don't have James or John in our stained glass windows, but if you take a look, the green robes, the orb that's red, and potentially the hair. Now this picture under Jesus in the west window has someone who is younger. There's no facial hair, but it is kind of a reddish brown and there's a part in it. And here is Peter on another wall of the church with his own window. He's Peter with the keys of the kingdom, Peter the rock of the church, and he's older. I'm going to just offer up the possibility that this is Peter worshiping Jesus at the Transfiguration, and this is older Peter in the window that he has all by himself. You can make up your own mind, but I love our stained glass windows, and I love thinking about what it might mean just to absorb myself in them and where they lead us to thinking about the love of Christ. Enjoy this window. I hope that we're back soon and we can enjoy the physical presence of one another and the physical beauty of these windows that lead us to worship and adore our Lord Jesus Christ.